Yo, morning, evening. Today is Saturday. I was so late to make both the analysis for the weekend and the changes in my fantasy team. Some games I've already played, but it's alright, it's okay. So, this week we will be having several interesting games. Like, we have the Manchester Derby, Man United vs Man City. And we also have what are the other games? Okay, yesterday Tottenham already played. Today you're having Chelsea. You'll also be having. Let me check the most interesting games this week. Arsenal will be playing Sheffield. Oh, Chelsea and Brentford is an interesting game. Wolves and Newcastle also today. Then tomorrow, the Manchester Derby. I think that's all. Aston Villa is playing Luton. So I was so late to change my fantasy. My fantasy looks like this. It's still great. Like we have Son as captain. He played yesterday. Tottenham 1-1 against Crystal Palace. And I also have Alexander Cash. I didn't change, but the team just looks good. The only problem should be Isaac will be probably will not play. He's injured. He had a knock on Tuesday. They were playing Champions League where they were defeated by Dortmund 1-0, which is strange. That group. Okay, we'll also be having Haaland Alvarez meeting Manchester United. I'm not sure how the game will end. Probably they'll just do a small analysis on the game before we continue. But first, yesterday Tottenham won, and Tottenham winning just cements that Ange is a good coach. I had doubts, especially on his squad depth and how he'll survive, but I've seen how he has made the changes, and now some people like Bentancur are coming back, which I think the squad, even if you compare it to Manchester United, some people think that okay, just because the team was underperforming, like they have, and I was one of them thinking that Tottenham may be having a small squad, but if you see even the bench, like somebody like who's this guy? Tottenham midfielders. Hojberg. Hojberg has not played. Hojberg has not played. Bentancur has not played, and the team is performing. So even if you say like people like Sar will not be there during January, you'll find that the squad will still be great, and they may even send some new players, which I'm starting to believe in that dream that Spurs may be, if they just keep it on, because they have not lost any game even in other competition. I don't think so. If they just keep this on, probably, just probably, we may be shocked, because Anje is an underrated coach, which I think most people just underrate him because they don't know what he has done already. Like they'll be like, "Who's this guy?" Even when he went to Celtic, the people are, "Who's this guy?" But he won back-to-back titles. He won back-to-back titles in Japan. He won. Is it Marino? Yeah, and he won the Australian national team, the Asian Cup. So this guy has been winning, and he has like more than 20 years experience in coaching. He started coaching, I think, in 2000. So by now, just because some people usually follow the Premier League and part of the Europe games, they don't know that there are other coaches who have great experience, who are doing coaching great teams, winning a lot of cups before they was elected to go to Europe, and is the first Australian coach to play and win a competition in Europe. Also, I think in Japan, even Asian Cup. So this may seem like a fad or what people are calling like an elephant on a tree, like the way they used to say to Arsenal. But I think the guy has enough experience to put this trend on until the last season. This season may be interesting. So, other than that, I think the Manchester Derby, this is a game that Pep is going to overthink. And I think he has been great against most teams, but the Derby is one of the most difficult games for Pep. He had lost so many Manchester derbies than I think any game from any opposition in Premier League. So when Pep overthinks, he usually make these blunders of removing the best players in his team or going by this common his common in a lineup, having 3-2-4-1. He played against this in Young Boys, which I think against Young Boys with this lineup, which I think he was just testing. And now some people, so the thing that I'm sure in is that Rodri and Rico Lewis will still be in, and Akanji is suspended. So if he goes with three at the back, he'll have Dias, Vardiol, and Walker. Or if he has Ake on this side, he will have, I don't know, somebody. Maybe, but Stones doesn't play. So most probably Walker will be playing at right center back in a three-man defense. Then you'll have Foden coming back, Alvarez coming back, and then he also had Grealish and Doku, which I think both will play unless he puts Doku on the left wing and Bernardo Silva on the right wing. Manchester United has a narrow squad depth. As much as people are saying, oh, like they don't have a bigger squad depth, like you'll always know. Like at the midfield, as much as they have people like Mount, Casemiro, and Eriksen, I think Casemiro and Ten Hag are not in the right partnership right now. I think they have got some, I don't know how to call it. It's like when you see someone is wants to is not vocal, but he doesn't want you in his team, so he's trying to manage you. That's what Ten Hag is doing to Casemiro. So I think Scott Amrabat will play and Fernandes. I don't think Mount will start. Neither will Eriksen. Maybe they'll come in on from maybe the 60th minute. And then you always know the front three for Manchester United. It doesn't change. It's Rashford, Hojlund, and Anton. I think Rashford because of politics, Hojlund because he signed him, Anthony because Ten Hag is biased. Then Dalot is the only, I think, fullback who can play both right back and left back, and there's no one Bissaka, so he'll play that position. Then Varane and Maguire scored, so I don't think Ten Hag is going to bench him. And we'll have, who's this? Regulon playing on left back. For me, I think even the two coaches, Pep is always above Ten Hag. As much as the Manchester United usually put their all in this game, they'll want to win this game so bad, so they'll always go hard on this game. I think just from a tactical overview and the squad depth and the squad talent and how prepared the two teams are, and even the form, like Man City has an upper hand in this game, unless they have to tweak a lot of things in that team. If they have to overthink, if Pep overthinks and then they play maybe high defense, or they just do a mistake which allows Rashford. But now Rashford is not in form. Rashford has been making a lot of mistakes, doing big mispasses and just doing like he doesn't make the right passes, especially when he's during counter, when he's running, when you need him to like put those crosses, is doing the through passes. When you need him to do the through passes, when you need him to shoot, is not shooting. When you want him to pass, he's shooting. I think his decision making lately has been a problem for the team. Scott is playing well, Fernandez is underperforming, Amrabat has not clicked. So I don't know how this team will win this game. So again this week, as much as it's a derby, as much as City struggle, I just think that City at the end will win this game. Again, there are other games. We have El Clasico today, versus Barcelona. Then, if I have to make a not comment on that game, on Monday we also have Ballon d'Or competitions, which a lot of people, it's already decided. I don't know. It's already decided that Messi will win. Romano post Fabrizio, and in Romano post he already has insider information. So if Messi is winning this his eighth Ballon d'Or, I don't know if it's because of World Cup. I think people are claiming that Haaland should have won, but okay, from an analysis, from just based on numbers, yes, Haaland should have won. But is Haaland the best player? Like really? Even if I had to choose from Man City, probably the most deserving person from that Man City should either have been Rodri or even Stones. How much they contributed, as much as Haaland contributed all those goals, he's not like the best player. He's a scorer, and he should be given like an award for scoring. I think 2 years ago, when the Ballon d'Or was given, somewhere was it Lewandowski who was given an award for scoring, just because a lot of people, there were a lot of politics surrounding the Ballon d'Or, which they thought, oh, Messi should not have won, probably should be Lewandowski. I don't know, I'm not sure. But they created an award just to give the person who scored a lot of goals just because of politics, which I think will be the same case. They'll just want to, okay, nobody's going out unawarded. We shall award everybody so that when you go out there, you don't say, oh, which I think in this case it should be right. Like Haaland should be awarded something for scoring goals but not being the best player. But I also think Messi, if I compare like playing and being influential, they might just have given him because of the World Cup. But if they compare like the impact of each individual player on a team and how they played, I think Mbappe should have been the one winning the Ballon d'Or. Even though they lost that final, it was just a small mistake. If Colomwani would have scored that last minute goal, then would they have awarded Messi that Ballon d'Or, or why would they have awarded that? So those are just the small things, and Mbappe really contributed not just to the competition but to that final and how PSG even played. These are the things that people should consider when voting, but it's a my view, your view thing. So voting usually happens. So voting, a lot of people usually even vote for the wrong candidate. So you don't blame anybody. Yeah. Otherwise, hope this week I again go ahead in my quest to be the top in fantasy league. I'll update you on Monday after all the games I've played. Yeah.